Hello everyone, this is Ponder on Weather. In this update, we're going to be talking about some big storms, an upcoming cool down, and yes, even some rain for the Pacific Northwest in the extended range. So if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. So let's get right to it. This is your July 29th satellite view. What we're looking at here, we've got this boundary that sent off all the very heavy wind threat last night into Wisconsin as well as Michigan. Now that's shifted down into Chicago with some very heavy thunderstorms this morning. That's going to be impacting Indiana, Ohio, into Pennsylvania, all along the Northeast later on today, right along this boundary here. But look to the north. We've got a bona fide cold front north of Winnipeg here, and there's some lot colder air back behind it. After this system moves through, we have a stronger push of cooler air, and that's going to be settling down into much of the eastern half of the U.S. for next week. But we also have this little tropical system out here in the eastern Pacific that keeps the monsoon flow alive, and it's still going to be active for several days to come with the monsoon, as some of this precipitation is trying to creep further north as we go into the day, into the weekend. But up here in Alaska, down here to the south, they actually had an earthquake last night. So let me show you what I'm looking at here. They had a very strong earthquake in the middle of the night. It was registered at 8.2 in Perryville, Alaska. You can see it right here and all the aftershocks that came after it. They had a tsunami warning for Hawaii for a time frame, but that has since been canceled. But that's a big earthquake that happened in the middle of the night. So I wanted to give you a heads up on that. So, but in the on the U.S. side, we're looking at, man, it's August, it's end of July, going into August. It's hot, right? It's the hottest time of the year. So these heat advisories are pretty much expected this time of year, but it's covering a huge chunk of the Southeast, all of pretty much, you know, Nebraska to Missouri to Arkansas to Louisiana, all on the southeast coast here. And of course, we've got those heat advisories they've been dealing with for much of the Pacific Northwest. But we got those flash flood watches too for portions of Utah, where the monsoon just stays alive and active for them. But taking a look at the high resolution guidance and where the precipitation may be between now and the rest of the day, it's still somewhat a little bit active along the coastal communities here with some scattered sporadic thunderstorms. There's your active monsoon flow. We still bring rain showers and some storms into Arizona, parts of Nevada here, and then into Utah and portions of Colorado going into Wyoming. And that'll try to sneak into southern portions of Montana. But the big threat today is going to be this main system out here that's going to be the severe threat that's going to bring some very heavy winds, strong thunderstorms, going into some large hail, and there is an isolated tornado threat as well. So that's going to be impacting Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, all on the Northeast. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted that severe risk, and here's your map along that boundary. It literally extends from the Ohio Valley all up along the coast with some very heavy rain. You've got the active monsoon flow down here in the southwest that keeps the rain chances alive. In fact, I mean, Tucson, they've already recorded their wettest July on record. They're already over 7 inches for the month. I mean, that is an incredible amount of rain for them, and it just continues for several days to come. But yeah, like I mentioned, this boundary here, that's going to be your culprit for your severe threat as we go into the daytime hours, because last night it was more of a nighttime event. Now it's going to be transferring to a daytime event. The storms are already active right now, and that will continue to press eastward as we go throughout the day. So all these areas from Philadelphia to Baltimore to Washington, D.C., in and around of Virginia here could be impacted from this particular system as this looks to, as it intensifies as we go to the peak of the day, it might probably intensify because that same system is going to be over more or less the Pittsburgh area, getting into Philly, getting into New York, into Washington, Washington, D.C. Those areas are going to see some of the strongest storms out of this deal. But anywhere from Chicago, like from this morning, all the way to Pittsburgh, yeah, you're going to be under the gun. And they only expanded this threat from yesterday from what it was. So this is going to be a big system. It's going to be leaving a lot of damage over a 2-day time span from this particular event. So as we go through tomorrow, going into Friday, that same front will shift a little bit further south. So that's going to start drying out in much of the Ohio Valley and the Pacific Northwest. The monsoon will continue to remain alive and well, spreading further northward into Arizona, getting further north into Colorado here, as the monsoon will continue to remain active. So, but look at the temperatures. I mean, you can definitely see there's some much cooler air behind that front. We're talking widespread 70s behind that front. So yeah, you're dealing with that nasty weather, but you got some welcome relief of some much cooler air in that same area where they seen some of those stronger thunderstorms. But down to the south, you got the ridge starting to build back in for the Central Plains. And we got triple digit temperatures returning for them. And then, of course, we got the ridge starting to build back for the Pacific Northwest as well. And places like into Washington, it's going to start getting brutal again. 105 plus. Some places could hit 110. So they've been dealing with that nasty heat for much of the summer. And as we continue into the day on Saturday, that same front will continue to press further southward. I think the severe threat pretty much subsides and diminishes, but we've got those kind of scattered, sporadic afternoon, daily showers and thunderstorms as a second reinforcing shot of cooler air will be dropping further south as we get into the weekend. But down to the south, that's where you're probably going to be starting to see some of your hottest temperatures of the year, as the ridge will start to build back in into Texas, and it just kind of dominates for the weekend. And you can definitely see by Sunday, we're looking at probably the hottest temperature of the year. The Dallas-Fort Worth area is sitting at 103 degrees, but we've got cooler air to come, because all that colder air, cooler air, they're all called cold fronts, but August, it doesn't have the same impact. But yeah, we're talking widespread 80s and 70s and even portions of 60s up here into New England. But this is a bona fide cold front for August standards, as this will continue to press southward. So there's that Sunday. Yes, you hit 103 probably in the afternoon, but we got a stronger push of cooler air, and that's going to kick off a round of showers and thunderstorms. Probably going to be impacting, Dallas, say, getting into the evening hours on Sunday evening. But you can definitely see we got a cool shot of much cooler air going to be penetrating much of the Northeast, get into the Ohio Valley, and this will just continue to try to press southward as we go into next week, as the ridge remains alive and well for the Pacific Northwest. But we try to sneak some of that monsoon flow a little bit further north. So yeah, we are talking about some rain showers trying to creep in on the south side as along this cold front. So we got the cold front going to be coming in the day on Sunday. It's going to be bringing some round of showers and thunderstorms into Oklahoma, into Arkansas, much of the Tennessee Valley, and that'll spread southward as you go through the evening hours into the southeast. It's going to be impacting the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Oklahoma Panhandle, Texas Panhandle, as the monsoon will slowly try to start to shift away from Arizona and going to be impacting more of New Mexico by then, as we see that tropical system down to the south keeping just that active flow, just been alive and prevalent for much of July. But yeah, you can definitely see we've got some rain showers creeping in into portions of Oregon as well as Washington, at least parts of it, as we go into that August time frame. So there is some relief on the way, and that'll should definitely help with the wildfires out there. But what really stands out as we go into the day on that Monday, yeah, these are afternoon temperatures going into the evening hours. We could be seeing some 5, 10, 15 below average temperatures at times. But yeah, the main story is going to be that much cooler air, and that should diminish the severe threat greatly, because stronger storms don't like cooler weather. So but yeah, we're going to be dealing with that some much cooler conditions, some more welcome relief and in the air temperature as we go through the day. But we always have to watch the tails of fronts. We got these fronts that kind of move through, and that front again is going to be sinking down out in the open waters. So I'm already looking at there's a low end potential of some sort of tropical type system that could form off the southeast coast, possibly again. So this is just an area to watch. Right now we've got 30 to 40% chance, but possibly around the August 2nd, August 3rd time frame. So this is just again one of those tails of fronts that you have to watch out in the open waters and see if anything might come out of that in the extended range. So as we look to the day on Tuesday, the August 3rd time frame, you can definitely see that's that cold front. It's got so not only does it come through, but it's got some cooler air that will funnel behind it and keep the below average temperatures around for literally much of next week. And this part of the country along that boundary, you're going to be dealing with those rain showers. So yeah, wanting some rain back in Texas, you're going to be able to get it with the more numerous isolated scatters and thunderstorms going to be available for you on the day on Tuesday, because right along that boundary, you're going to be impacted from those stronger storms in and around the coastal communities into the southeast along the northern corridor in the Carolinas. And yeah, some of that heavier rain, like I mentioned, this is the area that we have to be a little bit more concerned about. There's any say tropical system that's going to be hanging off the North Carolina coast. But as we go into the day on that, there's your high temperatures. That just shows you that the cooler air continue to press southward. We transfer into Wednesday. Yeah, the same deal. That cold front pretty much makes it almost all the way to Houston. Oh yeah, we're talking a rare August cold front making it so far south again. We've seen this time and time again, actually. Every time you think the ridge is going to be built back, it just the pattern changes again, and then we're shifting those cooler conditions for much of the South, where they've experienced somewhat pretty much of a mild summer so far, and a good chunk of Texas. It's always hot in Texas, but this has definitely been a much cooler summer than normal standards. Then as we go into the day and as we extend the view, that's why the Climate Prediction Center, with that cold front, that continued push of cooler air, keeps the cooler temperatures around for much of next week. This is that August 3rd, August 7th time frame. So that's pretty much all of next week, keeping the below average temperatures for August standards around for much 2/3 of the eastern U.S., as the ridge will continue to remain alive and well for the Pacific Northwest and have some of the hottest anomaly temperatures over the central U.S. and to places like North Dakota, the Dakota area. But the change is, as this system will come across, there's the boundary as this more or less stalls and keeps the rain chances alive and well for much of next week, at least scattered to isolated opportunities. We start to dry out for much of the Ohio Valley and the Northeast back behind that cooler air. But yeah, look at this. What really kind of stands out is the Pacific Northwest bringing above average precipitation. So this area just desperately needs the rain, and this bullseye here where you see a little bit higher coverage, that's where a lot of the wildfires are taking place. So hopefully this will do a lot of damage to those wildfires and start to help the firefighters out there to get some of these fires under control and finally start to get on the upper hand of these fires and start to get squashing some of these fires. So hopefully the firefighters will have this help from Mother Nature to help with the firefighters for much of next week. But you can definitely see where the precipitation may fall for the next 10 days. There's the standouts, the combination between these tropical systems out here in the Eastern Pacific, the alive and well monsoon, and the more or less kind of stalling front right along this boundary here in the south, we could see that heavier precipitation shift away from Arizona and shift more back into New Mexico with some of those heavier flooding rains. As the rains will continue to press further north, there's some of your heavier rains in that bullseye around where a lot of the wildfires are taking place. So this should help in a big way. And there's the standout from that stalled front off the Carolina coast with those above average precipitation out here in the coastal. That's why it's implying that we could see some sort of tropical type entity, or at least a disturbance, trying to get its act together off that stalled front off the Carolina coast. But yeah, along this, where this cold front stalls for much of next week, we'll see above average rain showers into much of the south and the southeast, and along that coast here into the Ohio Valley, into the northeast, you continue to remain pretty wet. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video and definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you for and after the storm.